guys, Alexa Ray here, standing in for Peter Brown. Let's talk about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 momentarily recalls the greatness of earlier games in the series. Skating around and looking for opportunities to test your creativity and reflexes is sometimes as enjoyable today as it was 10, 15 years ago. However, these moments of excitement are fleeting. The core mechanics are there, but the supporting systems are half-baked and rickety. For anyone who's played Tony Hawk games in the past, skating, pulling off tricks, and forming combos in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 will come naturally, and it's accessible for newcomers too. However, the same button that's used to grind is also tied to the new slam action, which forces your skater and their board downward. You can use it to your advantage if you've mistimed the distance between takeoff and landing during a combo, but you can no longer buffer a grind in midair because you instantly plummet to the ground. Of course, skating sessions are only as good as the locations they take place in, and the 8 maps in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 are too small, lacking in interesting opportunities. They're also ugly, with poorly drawn textures and constant texture pop-in. Pulling off combos often requires identifying a series of loosely connected objects that you can grind on between air-based tricks, and there are a few cleverly hidden ones to be found, but nowhere near as many as in past games. Some maps will frustrate you in other ways beyond their lack of interesting elements. It's all too easy to hit a ramp or jump off other objects only to find that you've gone out of bounds. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 also features a shaky cam that activates when you ride over rough terrain, or whenever the game feels like it. Frame rates are also an issue, and it's not uncommon that you fall through geometry, clip through it, and ruin a combo, or fall victim to anomalous physics quirks. Progressing from map to map requires that you collect stars by performing various feats and completing challenges. These can include reaching a high score, collecting items, or pushing balls out of a pool, among a few others. These tasks vary little from map to map, and they are indeed tasks, because they never deliver an enjoyable or challenging experience. Your only motivation to play them are these stars to unlock maps and skill points that can be used to increase your abilities, though they never make a tangible difference. Your skater feels the same on day 1 as he does on day 5. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 is built as an online game, but it does little to entice you into playing with others. According to Peter, he was never paired with more than one other person outside of Free Skate, and there were times when a multiplayer challenge would start with him as the sole participant. Online connectivity gets in the way during single-player missions too. If you're connected to the internet when you're trying to play single-player, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 still tries to connect to a server. If it has any problems during this process, you have to wait for it to time out, disconnect your console from the internet, and try again. Beyond the boring levels and challenges, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 has another big problem with organization and presentation. When scrolling through the main menu, you're presented with a few options: levels, my levels, and player-created levels. The game teases you with more to do by placing arrows on the top and bottom of the list, as though you can scroll to see more, but it does the same thing on the map selection screen, creating the illusion that there's more to the game than there actually is. Once you're playing a challenge, there's no way to exit it besides returning to the game's main menu, and even if you stick with it and wait for the timer to tick away, you'll have to endure a series of loading screens before you can head back to skating. Peter tried his hardest to engage with the activities in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 to eke out enjoyment, but problems with menus, loading screens, and glitches made it all too easy to put down the controller and walk away. Within Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 lies a basic skating game that's difficult to enjoy, because you have to jump over numerous hoops and ignore a plethora of obvious issues to find the smallest amount of fun. Previous Tony Hawk games were able to capture your imagination and motivate you through character progression, gear, interesting levels, and even a great soundtrack. The soundtrack in this game is good enough, but it's riddled with technical glitches and design missteps, making it a huge step back for the series.